3 years ago. Hey, Lieutenant. Tiir's at the gate to see you. He says it's important. I look up from my desk to my platoon sergeant. Yeah, that's what he said last time. He wanted fuel for his truck, and before that he wanted plywood for the checkpoint. He ended up selling it for profit. It's always important with that asshole. Take Lucas, go down there, get the details. No, I don't need the Turk. Get this. He's speaking English, but says he'll only talk to you. This was a new development. My platoon and I had been in Iraq for just over 6 months, manning a tiny little outpost on our own. The slice of hell that we were responsible for was a small shitheel of a town called Al-Saniya, just north of Kirkuk. Officially, Tiir al-Qasim was the leader of this place. Basically, we're a neighborhood watch with guns. Unofficially, he ran the place. Before the war, he worked as intelligence gathering officer in Saddam's army. He was smart, cunning, and extremely dangerous. He was also a necessary evil, keeping order in his kingdom through guile when possible and through force when required. I had suspected for months that he understood English way better than he would admit, but this is the first outward proof of it. For him to play a card that big, maybe this time what he actually needed was important. Well, Sergeant Troy, I guess you better bring him in. I hardly recognized the man escorted into my office. The brash, confident thug that I had grown used to dealing with was gone, and in his place was this furtive wreck. Tiir takes a seat across from me and accepts the soda offered to him. I notice that there are deep circles under his eyes. It looks like he hasn't slept for days. His hands are visibly shaking. He has trouble working the tab on the can. He's terrified. Tiir is terrified. I can't even begin to tell you how much that scares me. Thank you for agreeing to see me, Mulazim Michael. You of course will be realizing that I only come to you this way out of grave necessity. His accent is noticeable, but it doesn't really impede his speech. The man is fluent. Well, past experiences aside, it does strike me as pretty odd that you've suddenly revealed that you spoke English to Tiir, especially after all of those awkward conversations we had through Lucas about how you didn't speak English. So I figured there was at least a chance it might be worth my interest. Let me guess. You boys need plywood for the checkpoints? Would that it was. I suppose I deserve that. I admit to taking advantage of certain situational realities in the past. His eyes grow harder. But I ask that you not make jokes at the expense of the dead. I sit up straight. Are you telling me? All of them. Saved myself and 2 others 2 nights ago. Tiir, you had more than 50 men. What the hell happened? The broken man continues to face me, but his gaze is far, far away. Why, just that, Mulazim Michael. Hell happened. It's 4 hours after my conversation with Tiir, and I'm riding shotgun in my mine-resistant vehicle. There are 3 more of my trucks in a convoy following the leader's beaten-up pickup. All told, I have 20 of my men, with another 10 needed for backup on the outpost. I don't want to lie to my commander, but I don't want to get committed either. Telling him I needed reinforcements to go monster hunting just wasn't going to fly. I can only hope that this will be enough. Some of the townspeople had come to Tiir earlier in the week. Kids started going missing. The only signs were strange marks leading off into the desert, like something huge and heavy was dragging itself among the dunes. They pleaded with him to send his men after the kids. He complied. No, maybe he isn't such the bastard I thought he was. He managed to follow the marks to a natural cave dug out into the side of a hill in the wastes, several miles from even the most rudimentary civilization. I'm still unsure exactly if I believe the rest of Tiir's story. I've known the man long enough just to be sure that something happened. God, I really hope he's lying. I hope he's lying to me or that he's crazy. Bandits and some other faction thing. But not the living nightmares. The kind that slaughter and eat men in front of you. That's something else. It's twilight. The moon is just starting to peek over the horizon. Unfortunately, there's some nasty weather heading in. Not uncommon, as winter is the only time it really rains around here. The clouds are going to block any illumination. Damn, but I wish we could have gone to this mission during daylight. My gut tells me this could go sideways really fast. If I knew exactly what we are going after, a terrorist cell, say, doctrine supports a night strike since our tech is better than theirs. But going in half-blind intelligence with insane stories that Tiir spouting, I'm not too keen on facing monsters in the dark. My conscience won't let me wait, though. If kids are missing, and I'm sure Tiir's telling the truth about that, it has to be now. I briefed my men exactly on what Tiir told me. It took me a little while to decide whether or not I was going to, but ultimately, I'd rather they have an idea of what we might be up against. Worst case scenario, I just end up looking like a jackass. Best case, maybe it eliminates hesitation and saves lives. I can only hope we're that lucky. For anyone who's ever lived in a city, it's almost impossible to appreciate how absolutely empty and dark the desert can be. Night has truly fallen, and with the clouds blanketing the sky, only Tiir's headlights offer a faint reminder of day. I've ordered my men to drive blacked out. Convoys at night are prey, even for human monsters. We left the road behind about 30 minutes ago, and we're bouncing along. The dunes rise up on either side of us, too high for anybody but my gunner to see over. It's like traveling down a narrow hallway with sand. It's anyone's guess what's on the other end. I glance over at Robinson, my driver. His face is set. His eyes are straight. Hands are tightly gripping the wheel. The banter that would normally accompany one of our missions is nowhere to be found. Abruptly, the way opens up into a large clear area, about 50 yards across. It's ridged by dunes. Ahead, the far end of the clearing is capped by a large hillock about 30 feet high. Tiir's headlights are fixed on the yawning hole at the base of it. It appears to bore into the mound. He stops the pickup. I call over the radio. All right, boys, I guess this is a place. Establish a perimeter with the trucks around the clearing. Dismount. Drivers and gunners, stay with the vehicles. Everybody else, meet me at the center. Checking to make sure my rifle's loaded and my grenades are accessible in their pouches, I shove open the heavy door of my vehicle and step down onto the ground. Since we were driving with lights out, I'm already wearing my night vision goggles. The entire world shows up on my monocular as alternating shades of black and green. I move to the middle of the perimeter and wait for my men to join me. Sergeant Troy is the first one there. Sir, I'm going to reiterate to you that you should not be going on this mission. We don't know what's down there and you're too important to risk. I appreciate the concern, Sergeant, but for now, my philosophy is lead from the front, and I can't very well ask you to go down some dark, scary monster hole if I'm not willing to go. And besides, leaving 2 men per truck means we only have about 12 trigger pullers, including me. Whatever's down there killed almost 50 of Tiir's guys. You're gonna need all the help you can get. He grabs my vest and he pulls me closer. Damn it, sir, then swap out with one of the drivers. No, Troy, I'm going and that's it. Now let go and shut up before the rest of the men get here. Fine, but I've got 2 conditions, sir. Number 1, lead from the front or not, you let second squad go first. Fair enough. 2, if shit starts going south in there, we're pulling your ass out of the fire. Sergeant, if things go south, I don't think we're going to have the chance. Letting go, my platoon sergeant reluctantly turns to back off. The men begun to trickle, so he makes himself look busy doing a final check on his weapons and gear. I appreciate his concern, but there's no way I'm sending my men into the situation on their own. If something happens, I need to know about it. My strike team is fully assembled. A light rain begins to fall, and I turn to find Tiir standing next to me. You see the hole there, Mulazim Michael? That is the mouth of hell itself. I wish you the very best of luck, my friend, and for your safe return. Salam alaikum. He turns, and I grab his arm. Oh, I'm sorry to hear, but I think you have the wrong idea of what's happening here. You're coming in with us. If it weren't impossible, I could swear that I saw him blanch through my goggles. But surely you jest. For it is much too dark down there for me to go. I would not want to draw attention to your party with the light. He smiles nervously, and I do not have access to the equipment that you do. Well, looky here. I hold up a pair of goggles. I seem to have found a spare set. Tiir flies into a rage, arms wide, spit flying out of his mouth. No, I will not go down there again. You can't make me, you damned American. He tapers off when he feels the barrel of the sergeant's rifle in the small of his back. Please, he pleads. Please, my friend, don't make me throw my life away. I lean in close, talking low right into the big man's ears. Now you listen to me, Tiir. If what you're telling me is really down there, then I'm an even bigger bastard than you are for making you go in there again. But here's the thing, I continue. What you're telling me is fucking crazy. For all I know, you sold your ass out to somebody and I'm walking my men into a real nice ambush. So, I'll give you a choice. You can either come with us and I can promise you that at least you have a chance of surviving. Or you can die right here, right now. I step back, holding the goggles out toward him. What's it gonna be? A look of pure despair passes across the man's face. His shoulders slump. He takes the goggles from my hand, completely defeated, putting them on as he turns away and begins walking toward the looming hole. You're wrong, Mulazim Michael, he calls back. I am a dead man either way. The rain picked up steadily, and thunder rolls ominously in the distance. God help me, but I hope you're wrong, I say under my breath. All right, boys, let's go. Make sure you have positive ID on any targets. Remember, there might be kids in there. Second squad, lead out. With that, my men and I slowly move forward, the sinister entryway beckoning us onward, to face the horrors that I can only imagine.